Hello, my name is Kyle Burton. I am an entrepreneur. At least I like to think I'm an entrepreneur.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Delbaere. I am the acting executive director of Métis Music Ensemble, and I'm also the artistic director of Métis Fiddler Quartet Productions.
It's been great to be down here in Toronto and have the pitch training, and kind of learned a lot of things, met a lot of really interesting people.
I got to meet some of the most fantastic people. I mean, I feel like I've already met the Dragons, and I already have met two of them, but the sort of level of expertise and knowledge in that room was just staggering.
Welcome to the Métis Nation of Ontario Generation Innovation Challenge. I welcome you all. You've been through a lot of training over the last few months, all culminating this week in the pitch training and our Métis Business Forum. Today you face the scrutiny of 4 judges with over 100 years of experience in commercial banking, investment banking, corporate restructuring, and management consulting. Now the hard work begins. There can only be one winner, but all of you are winners. Good luck.
We've been magicians for quite a few years, and we just kind of figured that, you know, as brothers, we had a lot to bring to magic in Northwestern Ontario.
Yeah, and the business competition, the amount of information and training that they were able to give us means that we're probably going to be able to build a business a lot bigger, a lot sounder than we otherwise would have. So it seemed like a good opportunity.
At this point, it feels like we've already won. I mean, we've had a nice week in Toronto, and this is just kind of would be gravy on top if we do happen to win. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I have to agree. Unless, of course, the prize goes to the best dressers, in which case we have.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Robbie Bates.
And I'm Dave Bates.
And we are magicians from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Our mission is to serve Northwestern Ontario by ensuring that every child and adult has opportunity to experience a magical performance. We've been performing for the last 2 years professionally, although we've been actually performing as brothers, as magicians, much earlier than that.
So we're looking to expand and develop all kinds of new educational programs, and most importantly, entertain people along the way.
So on that note, would you like to see some magic?
Sure.
Excellent. I usually like to start this by saying that, well, my friend Gus is a sailor, but and he says that when you're out on the ocean, or in my case, Lake Superior, or perhaps in your case, Lake Ontario, you don't want to have your ropes being different lengths. What you want instead is to have ropes being the same length. And he taught me a little trick that maybe you might find a little bit handy. We snap our fingers 3 times. We grab each of the ends, 1 end, 2 end, 3 end, and we give them a good tug and stretch them out. Here we go. So now we have 1, we have 2, we have 3 ropes. Now they're the same length. But you know what? 3 ropes is a bit too much to handle. You know, things are kind of happening here. The cameras are running and whatnot. So Dave, if you could hold on to that one, I'll just do the rest of the trick with 2 ropes. In fact, how about instead of 2 ropes, you can just use 1 great big long one. Now, David's going to show you a quick trick too. There's more to this, but just for time's sake, we're going to cut a little bit short. David, if you'd be so kind.
Oh, of course, of course. Now, you see, magic is half performance and half the con game. Some of you have probably seen this particular trick done before, perhaps in streets and that kind of thing. Now, as you saw earlier, the bottoms of these cups are very solid. So if I were to take the center ball and put it on top of the cup, no, I'll go for right hand ball. Put it on top of the cup like so. We'll cover it. Get the ball, the cup on the left. Smash it like so. Send it through the cup. Through the solid bottom. We'll do it again. A little faster this time. Take the ball from the center. Put it on top like this. We'll cover it like so. Use a bit of force. Smash through the cup like that. 2 balls. Penetrate through the cup. One more time. Take the ball on the left. Put it on top. Cover like so. Gently. And smash it through. 1, 2, 3 balls. And 1, 2, 3 cup. Thank you. But that's not too impressive. I'm going to impress you a little more. Again, snap, and lemons.
Oh.
Nice work.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Sorry. Kind of fun.
At least you like to take a look.
That is a real
lemons for all.
Right here. Sorry. It might be a con game. Our business most certainly isn't, because you see, we have a very small market, very little in the way of competitions, and a whole lot of room for growth.
Yes, exactly. The Northwestern Ontario area is considerably different than here in Toronto. We actually have a population density that's 566 times lower than the GTA. Not only on that, but there's the entire population of Thunder Bay itself is approximately 100,000. It wavers a little bit more, a little bit less. But it is on the verge of experiencing a massive explosion in growth. There's a number of reasons behind this. One of the main factors is the Ring of Fire. You may have heard of that, and that's in the northwestern Ontario region. And also, there's a large biotech sector opening up in Thunder Bay that the municipal government is really pushing for growth. Not only that, but there are very few performing magicians in town.
So is this your current day job?
No, actually, this is a hobby business, and but we are very, very passionate about it. And the reason we've decided to kind of start it, and not only for a little bit of money, but most of the money actually goes back into the business. In fact, last year our gross was $3,190, and 100% of that plus an additional $7 went into the purchase of more effects and other advertising and other promotional objects as well. Currently, I am myself a medical student at the Northern Ontario School of Medicine.
Yeah, I'm graduating from Lakehead with a degree in applied biomolecular science this spring. So it's not necessarily our fields, but it's what we love to do.
From our science background, we also have a good understanding of science-related magic and ideas. So we're going to be using magical principles to illustrate scientific principles. And so we're hoping to kind of combine some of our passions into that respect. And then that would also open up the door for opportunity in the educational sector.
If you were to focus on this full-time, I know you're not, but if you were, what would be your typical monthly revenue stream?
Like I mentioned, our last year's intake was 3,190. We've already exceeded that. We exceeded that last month this year. So just in the first 3 months of work, we've actually gone beyond that.
Can you talk about the population trends that you mentioned, the Ring of Fire and the biotech company opening? Is there a demand for corporate events for magic?
Corporate, yes, there are. Especially municipalities we're looking at becoming very interested in our services in the future. The economic impact of the Ring of Fire alone is going to be $450 million. It's expected to be much higher for even the surrounding area. For instance, Sudbury's, the Sudbury, which isn't part of our target demographic, it's estimated to be $5 billion.
Maybe Sudbury should be a market. I've got to ask though, the obvious question to me is your siblings.
Yes.
You're in a business together. How are you structuring the business? Who's in charge? How is all that going to come together?
It's a partnership, basically.
Yes.
So whenever we want to make an expense based upon the business, we basically down to practically $20 even.
Yeah.
We'll stop. We'll talk about it, see if it's okay, get the approval, and if one of us doesn't agree, it just doesn't happen.
For a final question, can we ask, what do you need to take your business to the next level in the next few years to allow it to yield that kind of cash flow for you? So what support do you need to take it to the next level?
The biggest thing right now is larger illusions that fit our purpose. We are mid-size illusions and a trailer.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having us here. It was a fantastic opportunity for us to learn from you, and well, hope to see you around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, very interesting.
Very entertaining.
Yes.
Well, I think they really liked what we were doing. They could tell that we were passionate about it. They could tell that we really liked it. Although I think they may have been a bit disappointed in our lack of incentive to really pursue it full time. Yeah.
They were definitely looking for a business strategy that could see a tremendous amount of growth and spreading out and marketability in different markets and spreading out across the country. And ours is the opposite of that, quite literally.
They have something that's really good. They've got great brand recognition. They have almost a toll gate market that there's really no one else there. They have the capacity to grow. I think their fundamental decision is, although they're talking it's a hobby, but what happens if the phone does start to ring? You know, they start getting into larger illusions. There's really big money in this if they really were to really mold their brand, because brand is about experience. So the question is, you know, what's their strategy going forward? You know, can they go and train someone or get a group in place?
I wasn't clear about the attractiveness on the market. That's one area where I was a little uncertain. So to have a population of Thunder Bay and 6-hour distance, charging people for mileage, there's a certain point where the cost is not going to be appealing for their client base. And I'm not sure with the Ring of Fire bringing in mining and other companies, how many will actually order a magician to come.
I'm just not sure that that it can grow to a profitable business where they can sustain 2 incomes off of that. I didn't get the sense from the market opportunity in the region that would happen.
I wasn't sure that they wanted to go down the road of having this business be their bread and butter, because they both have educations that they're pursuing right now that are taking them in very different directions, although they did talk to how that was going to blend with the world of magic. Things might change for them once they complete medical school or the biotech thing really takes off for them. They'll have some tough decisions to make, but to me, this business seems to nurture their spirit, may not nurture their bank accounts, and that might be okay.
This opportunity is important to me in my business because I feel like it's really going to, again, help me make money off my photography. But more, it's given me skills to learn how to be an entrepreneur and how to gain contacts and how to make money off that. Even if I don't win this competition, I feel like I've prepared myself enough to pursue a career as a photographer. Hello everybody, my name is Kyle Burton and my photography company is called Pick and Pose Photography. Now, I'm just going to describe a little bit about myself. I'm from Midland, Ontario. I currently live in Toronto, Ontario, and that's where my photography studio will be based out of. Photography's changed over the years because when we used to use film, it was very costly and it was very time consuming because people wouldn't get their photos for like a couple weeks or even months. But with this, the technology has changed completely. So with that, there's been a huge oversaturation of photographers in the market. So we're seeing all kinds of amateur photographers, and often it's hard to point out the professional photographers from the amateur photographers. What I've designed is posing cards, and what they are there's 54 different poses on a deck of playing cards. These are ways to bring out creativity in both the photographer and in the person being photographed. My first commission job was in South Korea, and I was photographing a music concert for a magazine. I wanted to take photos of some of the people at the concert, but I didn't really know how because I was just starting out, and I was kind of shy. I didn't really want to approach people and say, "Can I take your photo?" So what I did was I printed different poses off the internet, different creative poses, and I would just fan them out face down like that, and someone would pick a pose, basically, and then they would basically do that.
So Kyle, how can you prevent one of your competitors from doing the same things what you're doing?
I would first patent the name, Pick and Pose Photography, and that would ensure that someone else couldn't take my business idea or name. There's over 400 event and wedding photographers in Toronto alone, so there's a lot of competition, and I thought, well, how am I going to stand out from all of those photographers? And this was a way I thought I could brand myself. People love seeing themselves, and this is a different way of seeing yourself, not only when you're getting your photo taken, but also when you see your photo online.
So if somebody's hiring you as a photographer to come, assuming they want their picture taken, how would the selecting a photo process go in terms of if they don't like the pose?
And that's the problem I faced as well with attending certain events, because unless there's a certain amount of alcohol involved, people aren't really comfortable posing like this.
So what skills do you think you have to build in order to be successful at this initiative?
As a creative person, it's difficult for me often to articulate myself and to connect professionally with people. So that's definitely something I'm going to have to improve on. But also, for me, it's finances. I think I have a weak financial background, and when I look at numbers and budgets, it's kind of like Chinese to me.
I'm interested, Kyle, in learning about the circle of support around you to help you move forward with your business, because we all know that it takes a village to raise a child, but certainly to give birth to a business and to sustain that business takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on your part. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. I still have to seek out mentors through the MNO, but this program itself, the Go Forth Institute, and the training has been essential to me learning about these things, because before I didn't really have the tools to start my own business. The problem with photography and any creative service is people expect it to be free in a sense, and I don't mind it being free because it is a hobby for me. Someone says, "Oh, can you photograph this event?" and I'm like, "Oh, sure, whatever," and I don't expect money, and So for me, it's been hard to harness like capital from this because people do expect it for free, and I often give it out for free. But you know, for example, you wouldn't go to your accountant and you wouldn't say, "Oh, can you do my taxes for free?" So it's still a job and it's still work, and I need to figure out how to get capital out of it. And working with a mentor will help that. I do have a support team around me. I have great friends and family, and they've offered to invest, and I haven't really taken them up on that offer because love money can be tricky.
Kyle, how much does it cost to prepare the deck of cards that you use as the product?
I researched a printing company in China, a Hong Kong packaging company, and they print 5,000 decks of cards. I think it's $1 each, and I would retail it for $5.
In a typical year, there's roughly 2,250 work hours. How much money can you make a year, just in terms of your top line revenue?
I was shooting for like $2,000 a month.
That's revenue or profit?
Profit.
Profit, okay.
Yeah. I still have to work out the numbers full time. The great thing about this is most events happen in the evening at night, so I can work full time and then do a gig at night, but it's a little harder because I'm finding I need a lot more energy to do that, and I just don't have it. So I would like to dedicate myself full time to this business.
I think the cards are very creative.
Yeah, here, let me,
love
you
to
know
see
what,
them.
I meant to give these to you,
Yes.
so I do apologize. Here's a couple.
I'd love to see them.
There you go.
To me, it seems you have great potential to sell
Yes.
this
Thank you.
idea
Yeah.
and be in the creative business to come up with other creative ideas like this.
Yeah. So there's not only poses, there's emotions, and there's abstract things, and there's also a word at the bottom. So if you want to make it like a charades game, you can actually just say the word, and then the person has to come up with a pose, and then if they get the pose right, then they get a point.
For most weddings that I've been to, I've always received a thank you card, and sometimes a thank you card may have had a gift in it. It'd be great if I had a deck of cards I sent everybody out as well as a thank you, and in there would have these fun poses of people who are at the event.
The only thing with weddings is printing cost, because in bulk it's cheap, but when you're printing for 100 or 200, it can be quite expensive. I know there is probably a market there for it. People would be willing to spend the money because it is a novelty. So I think that's a great idea and would be a great extension of the business.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I just want to say thank you guys for your time and have a great day. Thank you. I thought the pitch went well for the most part, but I was a bit nervous off the bat, and it was hard for me to collect my words, but once they started asking questions, it was a little bit easier. I think the mistake I made was telling them that I'm not good with money and budgeting because it's a monetary prize, so maybe they'll look at that and go, maybe not. So we'll see what happens. I think the other guys have a pretty strong chance at it, but we'll see.
What a nice young man. Sounds like he's still very much exploring his concept, the early stages.
Yes, I agree. He's at the very early stage
Yes.
idea. But what I like about it is that he mentioned it's oversaturated market. There's a very similar experience among photography clients, and he has something different to offer. So I like that his idea in creating an experience that is unique. But I don't really know the clear ask.
That's a challenge I found too. I really didn't quite understand what the business model was. And I think he's unclear about it. But he did hit on, I think, a key thing, which is that the market is oversaturated with amateur photography. And I didn't hear him talk about the opportunity with perhaps amateur photographers. That can be something he could use his products for.
Indeed.
I like Kyle. He brings a lot of passion and a lot of creativity in what he does. But there's a couple of things that really jump out at me. One is I don't see a hunger in terms of going out and building a business to make money. I just don't see that. And it may be just because he's young, he's trying to figure things out. If you're going to go, you're going to go into business. It's about revenue, it's about profits, it's about cash flow. How do I go and how do I build my market?
Right.
What he does, it's very creative, but where's the competitive barrier? How can he stop someone from coming along tomorrow and replicating what he does? So, I mean, I asked the question early on about, if you came to me as an investor, I mean, personally, I wouldn't touch the business, just simply because it doesn't have what I believe are those core fundamentals.
I think that this is an important opportunity for me to scrutinize my business, but also for me a chance for me to bring my business to people who know how to grow a business to a new level. I hope that my pitch will be able to convince the judges that my business is viable and that I will be able to move forward in my career with this business.
Thank you.
Great.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Delbaere. I'm a performer and educator, and I'm here to present my business, Métis Fiddler Quartet Productions. With my business, I bring Métis cultural expressions around the world to different audiences, and with that, I am bringing Métis culture forward to a new age. With our business, we reach two key markets, the first being the education market, and the second being the entertainment. Under both of those sections, we have products and services. With the education market, we have workshops. Workshops include string workshops and cultural workshops. And under products, we're currently in the development of educational materials. With our performances, we are currently developing programs, and we have a set of Métis fiddle music that we have worked on and developed in a program of that. And we are currently going to be launching a product with that, which is going to be our new album. We already have one album so far, and we have been selling that fairly well. In the last year, we've had $10,000 worth of orders. We're looking to expand our business by providing more services and more products. Currently, as it stands, we've been running both not-for-profit and for-profit activities under the same business. What I'm proposing to do to expand from that is to develop two separate bodies. This would be so that I can very clearly distinguish both those activities as well as develop the key partnerships that I do need so I can continue my artistic practice. In terms of development and research, we've been graced with grants and funding from government to be able to pursue much of the activities that we have so far. When we started up in 2008, we actually made $8,000 in that first year in just performances. By our first launch after that, we made $36,000 in revenues. In 2010, we moved up and we got a little bit more serious. We ramped up to about $50,000 in revenues. In the last year, we realized that we capped a little bit at $56,000 in terms of revenues. And we're realizing that's because our market is very seasonal. The only way to expand beyond that is to increase the variety of products and services that we can offer in different seasons, and also that we expand the number of products and services that we can provide.
Nicholas, if I could just ask you, did you start out as a for-profit or a not-for-profit?
We started off as an unincorporated partnership. So it was a mix between the business, but the business itself would have been considered acting as a not-for-profit.
Okay.
Nicholas, if the not-for-profit funding was removed tomorrow, what impact would that have on your for-profit business?
At this point, that wouldn't have an impact on our for-profit business because those activities have already been developed and those are not reliant on the funding. We really want to focus our strategy on developing those new materials because it's a cost-effective way of bringing that cultural content into the schools. When we go in and we do a school presentation, we charge $1,000 for a presentation. Specifically in Ontario, just the elementary schools, we have 4,000 of them. And if we even capture a very small portion of that market with one type of workshop, we're looking at revenues of over $1.5 million.
I'm hearing that you have a financial objective, but you have a passion for education and you have a passion for preserving the cultural aspects of it. Can I hear more about those two different objectives and where does that passion come from and what do you consider a successful objective?
I go into schools and I'll teach 200 kids at a time, and every single one of them comes back to us and saying, "Hey, now we know who the Métis are. We feel passionate. We feel inspired."
I'd like to congratulate you on your success so far. Usually historical performance is a very good indication of the future, but you did touch on a point where you said that things have flattened a little bit in terms of your revenue. Where do you see the biggest growth opportunities for you on both on the for-profit side of your business and in terms of your expenses? How have you seen those changed over the years?
Every portion of our business and although it seems very large, every piece I have somebody who I have working with me who's a specialist in that area. And that being a specialist in that area, they can directly advise me not only on how to develop it, but how to grow.
You mentioned cultural impact a number of times, and I wanted to build on Abby's question earlier, is to get a better understanding from you is how are you going to measure your cultural impact?
That's a great question. One of the ways that we're looking to evaluate our cultural impact is looking at social media strategies. Other ways that we have been evaluating the cultural impact is just even getting the kids to write a quick write-up of what they learned from the presentations, and we've actually figured how to really gear our presentations so that they have the right understanding.
So in our last question, just wanted to find out what type of support you need to take your business to the next level.
Having advice on how to develop online is an excellent way of moving forward. The other is that I really need strong mentorship in how to develop the not-for-profit in a way that is structurally sound. And also I'm looking to develop our business so that we can, in a way that is sustainable, but at the same time it's sustainable for the not-for-profit and for our for-profit to make money, and so that we are looking for in the next 5 years that we're pulling in $3 million worth of revenue so we can sustain ourselves.
Well, congratulations on what you've done so far.
Yes,
Thank you for
indeed.
joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed the music.
My pitch went fairly well. I think that I was able to communicate the essence of my business. I think my weakest moment was when I had to really describe and break down some of the elements, and it was very difficult for me to really clearly describe them, and I had to step back a little bit and really think about it.
There's a hunger, right? I really detected
Yes.
a real hunger with him that he has the passion, but there's a hunger. I can make money at this, and I'm driven by this.
And he can execute.
And
So
he can, yeah.
Now, he said that in terms of his performances, he's performed over the summers because he's been at school. The one thing that he hasn't tested out yet is his ability to take that to a year-round business. Now, it's not just himself. There are at least 3 other people involved. And so if financially, when they take it to a full-time business, is it sustainable? Is it going to make them a living?
Especially when you're working with family.
Well, yeah.
And he wasn't very clear on the expense side, and all of that travel that's involved in the presentation. It could be a very costly model for him, and there's only so much that he can do. So I would have liked to have heard more about the CD opportunity. It sounds like he was rather successful in that. It's a product that doesn't require the same level of him having to attend to events and those types of things. So I think that he could have elaborated a little bit more on the CD aspect and how that can be a for-profit model for him, since he's already had success in it.
Well, I agree. Myself, I'm not sure about the economics of education material. He didn't speak too much about that, so I'm not sure what it would cost to produce the material and then to be able to provide it to school boards with dwindling budgets. And that's one area where I think he can dig into a bit more and understand those financial aspects of it.
Yeah, he definitely needs a plan B when it comes to government funding. These are hugely changing times, and obviously from both a federal and provincial level. And he did reference the Ontario budget. Things are changing drastically, and from a not-for-profit perspective, especially if he's going to be sustainable, he needs a diversified funding model, and the government, he will need to be a lot less reliant on that as a source of money and be more creative.
Contestants, you've been through the fire, you faced the judges, and the judges have made a decision. Dave and Robbie, you have a unique offering. You're passionate and entertaining, but the judges are concerned. They're not sure about the market growth for you and whether or not a business can support both of you. Is this a hobby or is this a sustainable business? Nicholas, the judges said that you understand your market well and you know your financials, but they feel that you need to do more research to understand the financials for the education market. Kyle, you have a great concept and you understood the market was saturated and that you had to differentiate yourself. However, the judges are concerned that you're not sure whether you want to be the photographer or you want to be the photography shop owner. So, with that, we've got some great prizes. The first prize consists of a laptop computer, a printer, and a check for $1,000. Second prize is a laptop computer and a check for $500. And the third prize is $100 and a weekend at the King Edward and the Sheraton Centre Hotel. Now, the winner of the Innovation Generation Contest in the Métis Nation of Ontario and our proud sponsors would like to present this first place winner with a $1,000 check. And that goes to you, Nicholas.
Thank you.
How do you feel, Nicholas?
I feel very nervous a little bit right now because I think that everybody else here today did a really awesome job, and I just have to say that you know, I think we've built a great friendship, you know, going through this process together, and we really I felt like there's personal advancement in everybody, and I felt like everybody put, you know, a great amount of effort in, and they were really able to phrase themselves really well. So I thought it went really well.
Well, nobody's a loser here. You're all winners, and I congratulate all of you.